I don't know if I'm going to.
Good morning.
It is not morning coffee. It is not morning coffee. Yes. I'm so excited about the birthday festivities that I totally forgot to change.
Nailed it.
But nailed it is right. Yeah. So if you're just joining us now and you're like, what the hell? What time is it? I thought the spring forward was not 12 hours.
That was a 72-hour spring forward to the next fucking coffee show.
But yes, it's the Monday Night Podcast. Actually, we are live. Another Monday Night Podcast. Welcome to it. I am your host, as always, Timuchin here in Chicago. Beautiful weather. Just took another walk. These walks are getting more and more tiring because we're kind of extending it more and more. But I gotta lose this guts before I start reffing over here. So that's what we're going. At least people in the audience know it's the evening and they're not. Yes, Ryan is confused because he is probably drunk, but that's a different story. But yes, it's the Monday Night Podcast. Gally is in the house. What's happening?
61 degrees at 8:02 p.m. So there is no complaints, and tomorrow is supposed to be mid to high 70s, which basically means all this shit will melt just in time for St. Patrick's Day to come. And us to get another 6 inches of snow, which will
you guys
just
still have snow. That's not melted?
I have snow in my backyard. Yeah,
really?
It's still there, but it's on its way out. Like it's genuinely, my entire front yard is gone. But I keep seeing like potential cold fronts for St. Patrick's Day, and I swear to God, if it snows, I'm gonna be like the people over in Ireland, and I'm just gonna like rip up all crops and just ruin all potatoes.
I'm hoping not. We're getting a cold front, I think, next week, but no more snow is what I'm guessing. But the man of the hour, the birthday boy himself, Bickler, is in the house. What's happening, Bickler?
I got to tell you, it really bothers me that I work with probably about 300 people in both physical and satellite locations and was able to go undetected all day today. And then you fuckers blow me up midday with this birthday nonsense.
Blame Facebook, my man. I think you have to blame Facebook because that told half the
Yep.
people it was your birthday. Just so we're clear. The other half probably found out on LinkedIn, but that would be the one person from a brewery years ago that's still linked in with you.
Yes, probably.
You
That's
can blame
fair.
Macca. He started it because it would have been like maybe like slipped through the cracks or something like that. We were just talking about with Gally because we do American Scouser and stuff, get so many notifications. Sometimes the birthday notifications gets lost in our birth. But thanks to Macca and everybody on Discord, we do know it's your birthday. And obviously, it's a tradition on the Monday Night Podcast to celebrate the birthdays in style with a song. You can drink along as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you play the song. Let's see if I can get through 25 ounces in one song.
Let's see. It's not I'm not playing the whole song because I not sell the rights
But
to
he
it
asked
afterwards.
for a 7-verse catalog.
But happy birthday, Bickler. This one is your song right here.
Happy birthday, Bickler. Yeah, we know your secret name is Paul. Legendary mustache walks in, takes up the whole darn wall. Grumbling in the corner, still the loudest laugh of all. Funny guy with a hat on, crooked owns the room, owns it all. Happy birthday, Bickler. Raise a glass to the grouch of the show. You don't care what we think of you. That's exactly why we love you so. Happy birthday, Bickler. May your stash stay thick and strong. You can play through every minute, but you're smiling all along. Yeah, you roast every person like it's just your way to care. Roll your eyes at the candles, mutter, why am I even there? But you.
It keeps going. It keeps going.
Oh, I believe it.
It is like a gift that keeps on giving, and the greatest part of its gift is when it ends.
Yeah.
But yes, thanks to Matush, by the way, for bringing
This
it back
was
to
outstanding.
Dude, our old graphics department really slayed back in the day.
I just want to be clear. Our graphics department was just good enough to figure out how to escape that freaking beard because it just barely fits.
Do you know what the best part of that photo is? Is the original image. I'm wearing a shirt it's that color.
Oh, yeah. I think
so
this
good.
is like it was his doing that. I mean, if you don't know the origins of the story, by the way, that was funny. I sent you guys a screenshot. I have no idea why or how, but I went to my YouTube account because I kind of like play stuff as I work in the background, usually like just stupid stuff that I don't have to pay full attention to or whatever. But a show from 3 years ago showed up on my feed somehow, like a Monday night podcast from 3 years ago. So we've been doing this for a while, but if you were not following us then, for a while when Peacock first got the rights, everybody was nonstop bitching. They've gotten tired in the US fan group now, but Bickler was there to defend Peacock 24/7. Hence, we made him the Peacock lawyer over here, and Mr. Peacock himself. So what did you do for the birthday, man?
I mean, I fucking had a full day of work and took a kid to his OT appointment, and he yelled at me the entire way, and then dropped him off at mom's house, and then came to hang out with you guys.
Sounds like a bash.
Sounds like
everything was good right up until you had to come hang out with us.
Sounds like every fucking Monday of my life.
Actually, speaking of trivia over here, I do have a trivia as well.
Oh, damn.
This is kind of like an interesting one regarding the because he did send me two of them. Might as well use one of them because Serzi says it's better than the trivia song. Did we have a trivia song?
Stop.
Yeah, you
don't ever play it
again.
again.
Am I getting ideas?
You would literally dance all around the screen. You were the only one that liked it, and you thought it was the greatest thing, and everyone was like, "This is the worst thing ever." You're just get to the question. And me and Bickler were like, "If it means we can cancel this segment, we absolutely endorse this song."
Is it this?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
and you can turn it off now.
Forget this.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got a real like Rebecca Black feel to it. You know what I mean?
Shelton thinks, but he's wrong. Nothing gets deleted, baby. We keep all receipts, including songs. Thanks to StreamYard. It's in the media over here. Okay, today's trivia. We'll face Galatasaray in the Champions League in only our 6th fixture against the Turkish club. Name the 2 Liverpool players who appeared in 4 of the prior 5 matches.
Steven Gerrard.
Dirk out.
No to both.
Neither of them?
Neither of them.
I'm done. Random answers
Yeah,
are
man,
Steven
only
Gerrard.
mustered 2 guys. Like he's like, I'm done.
Like, no, but I mean, I'm thinking we played them once this year. You're saying they've played 6 total times.
It will be the 6th time, yes. Tomorrow will be the 6th time, this says.
So we played 5 other times. And you want the 2 players who have played the most.
Yes. They have 4 appearances out of the 5. So obviously before this last game that we lost, they played 4 times against them.
It's Ian Rush.
No, but obviously they're going to be in the same era because they're going.
Yeah, well, that's why I was just guessing random great players. That
one of them is on TV all the time.
Mecca.
No, we do. I mean, I'm going to give it away, but we do a lot for his foundation.
Oh, Kara?
Really?
Jamie is one.
So Jamie played against them 4 times, and Steven Gerrard didn't.
The
so
other
it must have been injury related.
The other player would be on the same era over here.
Daniel Ager.
No.
Okay.
Left back.
What's his name? Oh God. Reese.
Yes, that is
John
correct.
Reese.
They had played 4 times against Galatasaray. We will get to that towards the end of the show. I do want to talk about that. Obviously, the match is tomorrow. But yes, if I'm going to be slot out, it's going to be because we lost to Galatasaray or something like that, because that should not happen again.
So Gerrard must have been injured, right? Because he played basically the entire
maybe it was
career of both. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just
that.
seems weird he didn't have those 4 appearances. He probably has 3 with like some random.
Or maybe we
yellow
wrapped
card.
it up in the first match, and he
maybe we used to rotate back in the day. Maybe you used to rotate back in the day.
I don't ever remember Steven Gerrard sitting unless he was
I was
forced
gonna
to.
say, yeah, I don't either. But so let's start with the weekend over here. Well, not the weekend. I guess it was Friday, so it was kind of like a nice weekend off in that sense. But this time we win, Bickler. What changed?
Oh, you know what I think changed? I think they've fucking got a little clinical in front of goal. Is what changed. Because if you look statistically, Wolves had the same XG in both matches. We had the same number of shots in both matches. We had the same amount of quarters in both matches. The big thing is in the first match, we had 5 big chances and we missed 4 of them. And in the second game, we only really had 1 big chance and we put it away. And I think that's the difference, really. I mean, I think we did a few things. I thought like we moved the ball in general quicker in the second match. And I think we did some nice things, even though we didn't score in the first half. I thought we did some nice things where it looked like we intentionally overloaded Mo's side, which basically put Rio in space and allowed us to hit a switch that allowed him to have some room to play. Other than that, I really just think it came down. And this is what the thing that like was a little bit like always happy to win, but I don't feel a whole lot better than this about the squad because we literally had a greater XG in the first match and fucking lost. And in the second match, we cleaned house, right? And I just think the same issues that I see are still issues that persist in both of those matches. Although I think we moved the ball quicker. And in the second half of that last match, I felt like we actually prioritized winning the second ball again, which when we do that, we're great.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to get to that. I think we're going to talk a lot about that against the God's thing because I don't know what's going to show up and what's going to come out of it because it does feel like up and down. I'm glad to see like Veer's out there, but obviously Ali is out and stuff. We'll talk about that. But I mean, I think in terms of Friday, there was a lot of discussion. I mean, obviously, there's some people who just want to be negative or contrary, regardless, obviously, Gally. So
some people have their birthday on the same day that they do the same thing.
Yes, no shits. But I wasn't gonna name names. You brought it up. But I think when the lineup came out and you see the substitutions, in some ways it was as perfect as it can go. Where you did some rotation, you got people minutes who needed minutes. Like you were able to get Veers out there to get a run out and stuff like that, even though he wasn't too involved. It's just a matter of being out there and getting some minutes. You got Neoni out there. You got a Rio as starting and stuff. In some ways, I know people would complain. If you went too much rotation, people would say, hey, this is a trophy we have to chase. Why do we go this week? If you went to the regular starting 11, they'd be like, when are we going to rotate? So I felt like it was a perfect mixture, and maybe because of how the game went with the substitutions, it couldn't get any better.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did what he had to do. He had so many options available to him. He made those changes. I was happy that he started Gomez at center back. I thought one of them needed a rest. I would have liked to have maybe seen just 45 and 45, but he let Virgil play because that's basically what he does, which is what the last manager did too. So, and that might have everything to do about what it's like dealing with the captain when he doesn't get to play all 90 minutes. But when I look back at that match, to me, it really comes down. I think Paul's right. It was very similar matches, but they took their chances. And who knows if Gakpo doesn't take the ball off Jones's chest on Tuesday afternoon and he knocks it in and we go up 1-0. You never know how that game plays out. And we might be looking at 2 wins in close succession with, to Paul's point, similar trajectories where we don't give up a lot of chances. Look, Paul makes jokes about, remember when we used to rotate? I'd argue maybe they should have done a little more rotating and maybe the lead goalkeeper would be available for this match if he hadn't started on Friday in a match that Mamadashvili probably should have started, not just because the main keeper needs a break, but God forbid the main keeper who gets injured a lot gets injured. You might want that backup guy who might have to play meaningful football matches to have a little run out. So it only made sense to start him. I don't like that he didn't play in either of the last 2. But I'm sure we'll get to Ali. My biggest takeaway from that match was Rio was really, really good. But I think, and everyone's going to kill me for this, I think it had a lot to do with how good Robertson was behind him, because I think it shows and it makes a lot of sense. And I think this is really good coaching. And God forbid anyone in a Liverpool group talk about good coaching when referring to Slot. I think giving Rio probably his biggest start of his professional career when everyone's clamoring it, it's smart to put a veteran right behind him that helps him see through the match, tell him where to be, what to do. And you could see it throughout the match. The communication between Robertson and Ngamo was really good, including their interplay. And I think it helped him to have a veteran behind him. And I just think it was a really, really good move by Slot. And I think we're going to see a lot more of the kid moving forward.
I mean, I think we saw that like with the substitution pattern over the weekend too, Bickler, and seems like that will be the duo. I don't know if that's because in some ways Robo has more positional discipline, perhaps, or maybe does not have the energy to bomb up top as much as Kirkes is doing anyway, nonstop, and sometimes out of control. Having a guy over there, because let's face it, like compared to Gakpo over there, apart from the number of step overs and taking people over and stuff, obviously the defensive work rate changes a little bit with Gakpo. So looks like those are the duos, Gakpo, Kirkes, and like Rio. But I will also think that it's helped Robertson in the sense that like the goal, for example, and there was another, like the assist, he did not
Inside.
go up as much. And when he did, it made a bigger impact because I think they did not expect him to push up that much knowing Rio was there.
I'll take it. Yes. No, I think the combination makes sense in a lot of ways, right? You're not going to ask Andy to do the work that he used to do, and you're not going to expect Rio to do the work Mane did, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I think it kind of like the juxtaposition of these two players in terms of where they're at and what they're capable of in their careers, I think is kind of perfect, right? So I think it is good management to have them together in terms of the fact that, like, you know, Robbo's going to over communicate. I don't think you're getting that from Kirkes, and I don't think you can't have Van Dijk essentially leading the line on that instruction for him at that position in the pitch. So
Great.
I think it makes a lot of sense just in terms of what both kind of are suited towards right now, which I don't think we would have been able to say about, well, obviously not Rio because he would have been in diapers, but Robbo a few years back. Like we couldn't have like that just wouldn't have worked quite that well.
Well, let me ask you this then, Bickler, because I know you were the one like when we were going back and forth about like Rio, Gakpo, and stuff like that. Having seen that game now, does it say, okay, we gotta, because if you have to start Robo behind him, does that limit how often that you would start Rio then, knowing clearly there are some weaknesses in his game and that's why you have to have Robertson behind him?
I don't think it's an either or. Like, I think you want Robbo back there, but I don't think you have to have him back there.
Agreed.
And I think like I just keep coming back to the fact that like no matter when he plays, who he plays with, he's the most dangerous player on that pitch. And like, so I think you still have to find a way to get him more minutes. And I don't think that necessarily have to tie that to Robbo, because I think like everybody's going to talk about, like, I saw the social media storm after the match, and it was like, what are we going to complain about? Oh, we're going to complain about the fact that Robbo's been slighted for minutes this year. And it's like conveniently ignoring the fact that he's looked like an 80-year-old version of himself every time he's been out there prior to this match.
But then it happened. And then we had Alan Shearer and the match of the day guys on Monday Night Football actually saying, what is Kirkes really offering? And then all of a sudden there are these rumors about us being in for a $70 million bid for some 29-year-old from Inter Milan left back. And you start to think because they're not sold on Kirkes, and you're like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, really, where are we going with this? Like, it's, I get it. And my things, to Paul's point, I really do. I think what we saw was that you're going to see important minutes for Rio in every single match from this point forward, because I do think the manager was challenged the last few matches. He did put him in for 30 minutes against Wolves in the loss, and then he gave him the start. I think it's also telling that he took him out on 60 minutes, which makes you think he has a real part to play in Turkey. He has clearly become the fourth choice attacker until Isak is fit. He has jumped ahead of Chiesa, rightfully so, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to get the start against Spurs in the league, and I think that's the next watershed moment. But I also think we should, while we're talking poetically about Rio and he was really good, we should probably give Gakpo credit for 90 solid minutes in a position he hates working hard and pressing and creating times where he creates goals, he creates space, and more importantly, he didn't make the manager use Ekitike, which gave him more bullets in his legs. And again, things that Gakpo hasn't gotten credit for this year. At one point, he was the only left wing, and all he did was play every minute and get shit on for all the minutes he played. And now he's playing a position he hates to try to stop us from watching Chiesa run around and us make excuses, and certain people clamor to their posts from September with the free Chiesa stuff. I think Gakpo was pretty good in both matches against Wolves, to be honest. And like usual, he got a lot of criticism, but I thought he was decent and I thought he did the job. And I think he has to play a huge part if we want to achieve the goals we want to get to by the end of the year, because we just don't have many. We don't have many options, and I think we should give him credit for what he did.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I've been saying this for a while. I mean, Gakpo gets way too much over the credit over there. Caroline, welcome aboard. Robo doesn't have to prove his loyalty to Liverpool. We know it's an honor needs to rely. I don't think it's a matter of like loyalty and he's not playing. I mean, he was not playing before that Tottenham stuff came out anyway. I think it's just a matter of, I mean, let's face it, there has been some times where we see him and it does not look like the old Robo because, you know, age catches up with everybody. I think this is probably the best for him. I actually like the fact that, you know, Rio played in a game where there wasn't like too much rotation. Because sometimes, you know, Matush was talking about it this morning too. Sometimes we throw the young kids out there, but they're all out there at the same time. So it's kind of like an unfair evaluation, whereas he went out there with like the regular midfield and stuff like that so that he can show himself and doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And I think like, you know, Robertson, you know, will get minutes. I mean, he has been getting minutes. There's been a lot of like 60-30s and stuff like that with Kerkez, but you at the same time, you have to look to the future and stuff. It'll be interesting to see how his, you know, contract and extension. We'll talk about Gravenberch in a little bit as well. But I think like overall, a perfect scenario for that game in terms of like getting the win, being able to substitute, rotate, getting Rio the starts. It'll be interesting to see what if he shows up tomorrow.
His first goal from outside the box in his Liverpool career in like 8 years. So,
dude, I mean, really, we talked about this, right? Because
I was like, everybody calm down
for Scotland.
I was like, everybody calm down. He hasn't done it in a decade, like at the club level.
But
when I saw it hit the back of the net,
shooting being better for Scotland than it has been for Liverpool.
When I saw it hit the back of the net, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the number. I just kind of looked down. I looked back up. I saw the ball wrap around the right foot or get to the corner, and I thought to myself, was that Szoboszlai? Like, who ran onto that ball? I was like, who just hit that? And then I look up, and I'm like, no. And I see him celebrate, and I was like, get the fuck. And I'm waiting for the 7-foot deflection. I'm waiting to see that ball was heading for the corner.
Yeah.
Hit a guy in the side
there was
of the
some
face.
shots.
It was a perfect. But to be fair to him, it was good work by Mo. It was good work by Jones. They controlled it. They dropped it off. And to Paul's point, I think because Rio is so commonly out wide, he tucked in and it allowed Robertson to be in a position to score. And it was a great strike and it was a great moment. If that's his last Liverpool goal, and it won't shock me if it is, damn. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what you get with like Robertson, like somebody experienced like that is probably, well, one, we talked about this before with like Milner and stuff too. As you age, you kind of know your capacity and what you can do better. So you're more disciplined in that sense. And I think you know when to do what. Whereas, you know, you throw Kerkez over there, he's going to sprint up every single time probably because he can. And that's like another ordeal. But I honestly think when pundits, especially like people like Shearer and stuff like that talk, I think it's just like a lot of bitterness because most of these guys, when they got older, they started just like every other player, you know, like shifted aside a little bit and looked, you know, the clubs started looking behind them into the future and stuff. So I think there's a lot of like bitterness that comes to that. So they're always like, obviously have a lot more empathy for aging players, regardless of what they can do and stuff. I mean, it's pretty clear that Robertson can't be the same Robertson playing every 3 days. But I think he's still like a big part of the squad and he kind of has to be, because I think with Kerkez and stuff, you still have to do the 60-30. But let's get to, obviously, then we get City. It's kind of like too early to talk about that. We'll see what happens until then, obviously, who's available and who's not. But it's probably the toughest draw you can get. The only good thing is, if you win it, you're pretty much one foot in the final kind of thing, especially in the next round. But we'll talk about that.
Is the next round? I didn't see it. Is the next round they get the winner of Leeds West Ham?
Yes, that's how I saw the brackets earlier.
You know what?
I just saw like a bracket image.
I would have rathered the match at Anfield, but if you told me we aren't drawing Port Vale or Southampton, like if you're telling me we're drawing one of the Premier League teams, I'd probably say give me Arsenal or City at home, because at least then we're in control of knocking out one of those great teams and not having to play them in a one-off match at Wembley that you never know how it goes when you bring neutrals into it. Like, I think if you had to pick, you either take a really tough team at home or the easiest draw on the road. And, well, we got the absolute worst. If there were 8 different scenarios, we got the worst one, and it was by about half a mile for me.
I think so too. I think that is not the worst scenario over there. But yeah, like I say, I mean, we'll see like what changes until then. It comes in a really, really tricky run for City as well. In terms of like the fixtures they got coming. You would think there is a bit more pressure on them in some of those games than we do. They have the final as well in between over there that obviously we're not going to have and stuff. But let's get to tomorrow first. We talked about Ali being out, Mamardashvili in goal. I don't know about you, Bickler. I'm not as concerned about it as I would be normally, mainly probably because Ali has not been the same Ali, perhaps, especially because when you compare the two, the biggest thing you're probably, separating them with is distribution, right? Ball distribution. And let's face it, Ali has been pretty poor in ball distribution recently. So I don't know if that gap is still there.
The only concern I have is just him knocking off the rust. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him. Is he ready to come in right away and play? I'm also concerned about our center backs passing it to his non-dominant foot every single time. Let's not do that. Other than
they're going to.
Yeah. Other than that, like, I think that's the main thing. Like when he's played, he's been fantastic. Like, not just okay, he's been really, really good. And I think people have just gotten so used to Allison back there and him playing as like the number one keeper in the world, arguably, that I think anybody following him is probably not going to get his fair share of plaudits. And I think that's probably very true with him now.
See, Solo and I have been I've been saying this for way too long, been mocked way too long, but Solo has been saying it too, that this has 2005 vibes and we're going to win the Champions League. People were laughing at me, but we will see. Adam says, draw tomorrow and get the job done at Anfield. And honestly, I think Gali, knowing how Galatasaray is right now, they did play against Beşiktaş this weekend. So that whole change, it was supposed to be pushed back. It did not get pushed back. And I don't even know if the weekend game coming up is going to get pushed back for them as well because of the title race and everything. So they are coming from a tough match they played on Saturday. That was not an easy one for them. It was a 1-0 with all kinds of shady calls as always, but still.
Nice red card for Sane,
which should have been his second red cards. He got away with it in the 28th. The same thing. He gets away with it the 25th minute. Don't get me started on
what uniform is there in that picture of your grandpa in the upper right hand corner over your
yeah. Well, that's not I got a colored version too, but yeah, he does the same thing. He doesn't get a red. Osimhen should have gotten a red. Don't get me started. They get their way, and honestly, that's I think an advantage because they get their way in the Turkish league. And then they go to Europe and try to do the same thing sometimes, and it does not go as well. I mean, that's what has been their issue in the past in terms of yellows that they would not get in the Turkish league because of how the politics of it works. They will get in Europe and stuff. But the biggest thing I worry about, Gali, is Barış's speeds on the left. Because last time, that's how we gave away the penalty. So Boslai couldn't keep up with them. But he's a strong dude at the same time who plays right back because Frimpong has the speed to match up with him, but doesn't clearly have the strength to match up with him.
I think it's Frimpong. I think at this point in the big matches, I think you're going to see Frimpong. I won't be shocked if it's Gomez. I can't see him playing 2 matches in 4 days, including travel to Turkey. With what you have coming in, especially how well he played in the Wolves match and in the last time he started at right back, like I think you need to play the 60-30 game with Frimpong and Gomez when it makes sense. And I think you start Frimpong here, and then I think you give Gomez the game against Spurs at the weekend probably. but it's got to be Frimpong. And he also creates for you. And I think Mo really likes playing with Frimpong. I think we've seen a little energy there. Mo scored from open play in 2 straight games. So I think you want to make that happen a third. There's certain players you need to click for these things to come together. You want to win number 7. You want to make Champions League. You want to have a chance against City and win the FA Cup. You need Mo Salah. You need Ekitike fit, right? You need Isak back eventually at some point. Like, you just need contributions from all over. So for me, I think it's Frimpong all day. I don't even know if it's a question after he didn't start against Wolves, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you didn't go full, I would have probably do Gomez as well, but I think you're right. It's probably 60-30. I just hope the speeds eliminates the strength factor, because that dude gave Juventus
a
really,
big
really
boy.
tough time. Really, really tough time. But he's one of those streaky guys. He's either really good or really bad. Let's hope we get a crush real bad. And obviously they have like Osimhen in the middle, which can be a concern over there. That's probably my biggest worry, is like them getting goals over there. But I like the fact that, like Caroline says, Wirtz being back is a huge thing. I was afraid he was not going to be there. Bickler, what will be, obviously the whole atmosphere and the mode is different, right? So, I mean, we've been in situations where you play in the regular season, but then playoffs is a whole different ball game. And this is almost like playoffs, if you will. What do you think will be different in terms of the 2 matches? Because we did play in back in September, right?
Yeah.
September,
right in the middle
October.
of
I think it was early October, right?
It was right about when shit was going downhill.
I think it was like the beginning of the 8 out of 9 loss type. Like, it was part of that awful run.
Yeah, I'm trying to look back and see. I don't even. Oh, it was end of September. I mean, I think obviously I'd like to think there's been some progression since then, that we've done some things and figured some things out that we didn't then. I think the biggest thing here is that, like, I think since that run, this team has found its way. I think it's found a way to put things together up front without losing its defensive shape. And I don't think those 2 things early. I feel like there's a disconnect between those things. Like, you were choosing between where we attacking, open flowing, going, like creating goal chances and scoring, or where we shelled up and just defending well. Right. Like, it was one or the other. And I think this is a team now that can kind of do both. Right. And I think at this stage in the Champions League, like, the thing that I don't love about Liverpool is I don't know how it plays when it's chasing a lead. And I haven't since he joined this side. So, but that being said, at this stage in the Champions League, what this team does do well is sort of keep this thing close and tight into late in games. And I think if anything, that kind of bodes in our favor right now as we figure this thing out. Yeah. Go ahead, Gally.
No, I kind of feel like that's where, like, the cup competitions have almost given us like room to breathe this season, which is why I think we've looked good at times in the FA Cup. We've had some of our best performances domestically in the FA Cup, I'd argue, this season. Brighton, the Wolves match. I mean, we were playing lower competition earlier, but then you also look at how they played in the Champions League group stage. I mean, take aside the PSV calamitous performance at home, but I think that's right in the midst of the throes of the worst. He's contemplating dropping Mo, rightfully, because when he does, it turns results, but he knows he can't at the moment, so he leaves himself exposed against the team he should dominate at home. He goes attacking, and they get absolutely blitzed, and they lose in the midst of their worst run after shipping all the goals to Forest, right? Like, shipping the goals to Chelsea. So for me, the Champions League, Atletico Madrid, arguably maybe the best performance all season. At Real Madrid, really good performance. Marseille away. Galatasaray, as bad as it was, honestly, it's a dodgy penalty. The match should end 0-0.
The result was bad. I did not think the game was that lopsided.
And Ekitike is through in on goal, up 1-0. And you could argue in Europe, that penalty that we think we're going to get in the second half to give a chance to tie it usually is given in Europe.
Yes.
And I think VAR rightly chalks it off, but it could have been given just as easily. So they've been really good. 5-1 at Frankfurt. 1-0 win at Inter might be the most impressive performance with where their results were at the time. I feel good going into this match. I feel better about how the draw shakes out. I don't love the side of the bracket we're on, but I do feel like this is the tournament. You're supposed to play really good teams. And there's a world where we play all the best teams and to your point, Tim, we find a way to number 7 and we win it. Like they did in 05. Like they weren't the best team in 05. Like they made the run because they had moments. This team feels like it has a moment or two in them. I just want them to be like great moments and not the moment late at Leeds, Chelsea, Palace, or Bournemouth.
That's the thing. I feel like the squad, the quality, when they're on their game, there is not a team they cannot beat. I think that helps in the cup tournaments, but it's not consistent. So obviously it hurts you in the league because you can't do it week in and week out. I want to get to Caroline's question about Wirtz, but Shelton said the worry is the pivots. Gravenberch to be disciplined. He did get a contract extension this week. Some people, for some reason, Solo knows. Solo is the head of that WhatsApp chat, so I blame Solo for anything that happens in that chat. But like some people were losing their heads and stuff. I feel like the club can't have it either way, Bickler, because if you let them run out the contracts, then you get yelled at. If you sign, you can't, as a club, you can't sign people on form. I know this is not the Gravenberch of the last season, but you got to make bigger picture decisions as a club. So I take that as a big win to secure that dude long term. What did you think of the extension?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you have a player in that position, like signing that extension at least puts you in the driver's seat for negotiations as a club. If you don't have that player in your plans, guys, he's fucking 23 years old still.
I was just gonna say,
you know what I mean?
It's forgotten
this morning. Didn't you guys think it was older?
Yes, I honestly thought he was 25. I felt like he came here at 23.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking I was going to guess 26, 27, but he is still like 23. So locking him up for that many seasons. And I don't know, people are looking at the wages now, but the wages keep going up, Gally. So it's not like, you're still going to sign a guy for 100,000.
Here's the thing.
I mean, I'll sign for 100,000. I'm just saying.
For all the people out there that love to freaking talk about the penny pinching American owners that have had the highest wage bill for 2.5 seasons in the Premier League, and once again had the highest wage bill because they signed those two guys who demanded them to re-sign at the end of last season to huge, huge money. This is brilliant to me, and I think this is a preemptive move. I love anytime you go to bed as a sports fan, wake up the next day and hear amazing news that you had no idea might drop. It was like the moment you woke up and you're like, they signed Diego Jota? What? Yeah. Fabinho? Who is this number 6 from Brazil? Oh yeah, he played at Monaco. No, but these are the best types of moves. But at 23 years old, right? You re-sign this player who can play the 6. If something changes, he can move forward and play the 8. So he gives you flexibility, God forbid, if Dom ends up walking for some reason. It also allows you to set the bar for the type of contract a player in that age group who has won things like being in the Premier League player of this or player of team of the season like he was last year, right? It sets a tone for the negotiation they're going to try to do with Dom this summer. Because I've said this before, and I do believe this. If you can't sign Dom Szoboszlai by the end of this summer, you have to think about selling him. Because with 2 years left on his deal, there will be no more big cash-in moment for you. And he is 2.5 years older. So if you're giving him a 5 or 6 year deal, this comes to the McAllister stuff. It's why McAllister doesn't get a deal and why McAllister's dad is out there saying, well, they're not even negotiating because they know it's a 4 or 5 year contract that takes you to 32.5, 33 with McAllister at this point. And we've already talked about how much he's played. For me, this is a masterstroke, honestly, by Hughes and Edwards getting this deal done because I think it sets a parameter around the Szoboszlai contract. I think it also lets Jones know, regardless of what we do, You have to work on our numbers, not the inflated, crazy numbers you think you're worth. And he has 1 year left on his deal. So I think this was like the preemptive strike you needed in your midfield.
I mean, yeah.
Now
I mean, you look at the chat too. I mean, it's a no-brainer for like most people, right? Like in terms of, I think my thing, Bickler, is a lot of the negative tone that came out of it, and there was some, is one because of his recent form compared to the year before. But I get the sense that he's seen as Slot's guy, and people almost be like, if he's staying, Slot must be staying too, as the Slot outish guy out of us three over here. How much weight do you put on that?
Not a lot. Also, not a slot out guy. Just want better football guy. Like,
I don't know about that.
I just want better football. That's all. I don't put a lot of weight on that.
Gally knows what I'm talking about, but go ahead.
Okay, whatever.
Just because it's your birthday, we're not gonna get away with shit. So go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I think preemptive strike is a really good word, and I think like Gally used that originally because I think what it's doing is like Gally said, setting up a lot of these negotiations that they have to go into are very big. But I also think it's sort of getting ahead of and shooting down this concept of what happened with Mo Salah and Verge being a normal situation for that club, right? Like I think there's a line in the sand where you do that often enough and you become Manchester United versus like the situation where we have two guys that we wanted to essentially reward for a friggin' close to a decade of service and for winning everything under the sun, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's for these young cats coming up that are in their early 20s. I think it's just a situation where, hey, you're still working in this. We're still working within these parameters and we're still building this in a way that's sustainable for us. And if we continue to sign guys on contracts like that, regardless of where they're at or what they've done, that's not a sustainable way for this club to operate. So I think we got those two. We know that those are coming off the books here in 2 or 3 years max. And then we get back to building this core thing out in a way that's sustainable.
And I mean, in some ways, it's kind of like building this, I don't know, like 2.0 or whatever the hell you want to call it in works. I mean, looking at the ages of all these people, I mean, Caroline, brings up Wirtz, his age, obviously. Ekitike is right, 23 or something, right?
Yeah, 22, 23.
I mean, Isak is older, but obviously for the striker,
still
I know
25,
like 26. Talking about
26.
this here, like I think I was just looking at it. I think he said 26. I think
Yeah.
it's like in some ways, in the past, the prime I know used to be more 28, 29 for most players. I feel like that's kind of like gone forward. Maybe they start younger or they get opportunities earlier, but I feel like that's kind of pushed forward a little bit in 24, 25, 26 and stuff like that. But I mean, it's you got Kirkes, Frimpong. We're talking about a really young crew that's going to kind of get to better by playing together. I know people like to play FIFA player manager and sell people after 2 games, but that's not how football works.
You have Leone and Jacquet, both under the age of 20. And then you have the keeper who looks 65 years old, who's only 23. So like it's outstanding. Like the
smoking those unfiltered cigarettes
like
over there in that part of the world.
That Bond villain is showing up tomorrow, and someone's gonna say, "I'm not sure what Turkish outfit he went to get that hair job, but man, that's a good hair job by this Mamadashvili guy." But I mean, literally, he looks like he could be 42 years old, and he's 20 something. I mean, they are really, really young. They are building something. I do think they're building something here, and I think they're going to sign some more young players. Like, I don't believe this club has an interest in investing in, like, we saw it last summer. They bought a couple marquee players in different areas, and I think they might still invest in, like, one more mid-20s guy if it's, like, the final piece.
Yeah.
But I don't see them, like, signing a 28-year-old winger, even if he's top of his game at this point. I think it's a 22, 23-year-old with up-and-coming talent, Diamande type guy. I think if they could get an Elise, they would, but he's still, I think, 24 with, like, so much experience. At center back, maybe they go a little older, but I don't know. You got two really young ones. To me, you want to tell me the if they announce tomorrow that Konate signs a 4-year extension at reasonable money, I tell you they are going into the summer batting 1,000 for what their goals should have been by the end of the season, because you're ticking off the boxes of things you have to do in the summer. And the most they can make this a routine summer, and by routine, I mean buying 2 wingers, getting your number 9 fit, and finding a midfielder that probably replaces McAllister, who has been a really important player for 2 or 3 seasons. I think that's a lot of work to do. I don't want to have to buy a left back. I don't want to have to buy a right back. And I sure as hell don't want to have to worry about which of the center backs are playing with Virgil van Dijk next year. That's why I want it to be Konate.
Yeah, I think that would be an ideal scenario. But that's what I mean. Like people flip back and forth so much based on form, and you got to kind of look at the big picture and potential and stuff and make decisions that way, because you can't just go by form, because that is going to go up and down. So you can't be like, oh, we're not signing him now, we're signing him now. I mean, I don't think Real Madrid does business like that either, because people were, when he had 2-3 bad weeks, it was like, oh, Real won't want him now. I think, most clubs at least are run better than that, in terms of they don't make decisions like that short term. But I mean, I guess the question is always going to be, how fast will this team go to the next level together? And that's going to take time, obviously, Bickler. And I mean, obviously staying healthy, because that's really been the biggest issue, I think, throughout the season. I know we kind of look past it and injuries are going to happen, but I think we had some injuries in like key spots over there. And perhaps, I mean, Ryan brings it up, perhaps like we do have some players, and I love Bradley, but his reliability, we were talking about Gomez in the past and stuff. It's just like, you might on paper have a deep squad, but if those people are not reliable, do you really? I think we're finding out you're not.
I don't think a lot of teams have answers for 4th choice fullbacks. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you look at like the Bradley, the Gomez, the Frimpong, all happening pretty quick succession, puts you in a spot, right? And then you don't have the flexibility of going deep when Leone goes out with an ACL. Like, you can't move the pieces as easily. So yeah, I think health is one thing. I think there's something to that Bradley thing, just because I think, like, not only does he have injury issues for me, but I worry about him developmentally. Like, I just haven't seen enough. Like, I think he's a good enough 1v1 defender, but like, what I haven't seen him improve on is his decision-making. And that's the scary thing for me. Like, I still think that he is still super, super undisciplined in areas, in terms of jumping in and lunging in situations. And I just think that, like, between the cards and the health, you struggle to get 90 from him, right? And that's a real problem when you got 2 guys around him that can't stay healthy too. So fingers crossed this is just an outlier thing with Frimpong, because he came to us with 0 injury history.
Correct.
Right? So let's hope that we just got an outlier here. But yeah, I mean, to Gally's point, like, I think this is big, because like there's a situation where if we can account for this in the side of youngsters, deals that we've already had, we're eliminating the amount of things that not only do we have to purchase in the offseason and go after deals to get done, but also the least amount of volatility to the side that's already had a tremendous amount of volatility between losing Jota, like basically turning over the spine of the side, losing Diaz, all that stuff, right? Like, it's time to start to stabilize and gel this a little bit.
And that's probably, I mean, when we talked about it throughout the summer, we knew, like, don't get used to this, because this is kind of like a rebuild, and then they'll just touch up pieces as we go. I know everybody makes like a long shopping list again, but don't get me talking about transfers. Let's talk about tomorrow over here first. Galatasaray game. Caroline was asking earlier. We know, I mean, I can tell you, obviously, that stadium is going to be out of control tomorrow. That's like a Turkish game thing. I mean, I think we're known for a tough place to go. Loud, constant, like, whistling. I mean, I know, like, I heard players like say, they go out to a Fenerbahce field or go outside field and they can feel the ground shake under them and stuff. It's kind of, that's why I feel like, you don't want a guy like Rio out there, because he's going to be like, what the hell is this and stuff. I mean, kind of like Turkish teams are kind of known for that, creating the environment and stuff. And they will go, because of that environment, they will be high pressing and going full energy and stuff. Caroline was asking about Wirtz. Do you start Wirtz still so that you do have somebody on the ball and kind of control it. Because my biggest fear about tomorrow, I'll be honest, is letting Galatasaray do that. If you try to absorb pressure first and then go at them, I don't know which way that game will go. Whereas if you take the game to them, I think it will be a different mindset.
I love the idea of it. I am a little worried that nobody actually thought he would be back. Original thoughts were they were trying to hold him out for the Galatasaray match. Then they gave him a few minutes. I just question, is it better to just err on the side of caution and go with your midfield three that gives you more stability in the middle of the pitch and allows Szoboszlai's running and his energy to create and try to just, you still have Wirtz from the bench, and then you have him clean to start against Spurs and then start the second leg at home if you need him to win something for you. To me, we haven't got to the predictions, but I'll just let you know, if the final score starts with Galatasaray 0, I'm okay with the final result. Like, I don't care if it's 1-0, 0-1, 0-0, 0-2, like, right? I just feel like it might be just a step too far and almost bordering on arrogance to start them in this match in Istanbul, in this place, because I also don't put it past one of the midfielders to absolutely clear him out a minute and a half into the match. So no, I think
it does have some butchers in midfield as well.
That's why I kind of feel like I think smartest thing is you keep him on the bench. And honestly, you hope you don't even need to see him. But if you do, you have a match winner to come off the bench, which we haven't had pretty much all season.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I would go with that just to be able to keep that midfield a bit more energetic for one. And I think, you know, if you look at which game is a better game for Wirtz, the Spurs game definitely feels like a better game for him to get a start in. So if you're going to do 60-30, I would probably do 30 tomorrow and 60 against Spurs, where we're probably going to, you know, you're going to have a ton of space, obviously, with the way Spurs play for him to like exploit. Whereas tomorrow is going to be, especially the first half, going to be a physical battle more than anything else.
Yeah, I absolutely wouldn't play him in this match. Like, I would do everything in my power to make sure that he's not playing until he plays Spurs. And I think you get a Spurs lineup where they've got essentially tracing paper as a midfield. Like, it's a fantastic matchup for him to just go in and basically wave his wand of a foot and do all his little magic in the midfield. Like, I'm not starting him away in Europe against one of the hardest clubs in terms of atmosphere, with a bunch of dudes that will go in and they don't care if he gets cleaned out. Like, I don't, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I also think back to this volatility thing, like, you are looking at a side who's desperate for some sort of consistency. And I think you just got to roll with that midfield core that's been going through the last 3 or 4 matches. They've been figuring it out as they go. I don't think that changes on the road here.
And in a few of the biggest matches this year, he has gone back to his tried and trusted midfield of last year, and they never let him down from an effort and workhorse standpoint. And I think on the road, this is what you need. Like, this feels to me like you're playing Newcastle in a moment where you think the entire match is going to be Joe Linton kicking you, and your question is, should he kick Szoboszlai or should he kick Wirtz?
Yeah.
And my thought is always the guy with the good hair.
Yeah, speaking of, they're going to be in Turkey. So, I mean, I like, by the way, how, you know, my country used to be known for, I don't know, coffee and kebab and
Heron veneers,
Turkish delight and stuff. Now, I literally was, I think I was selling in the morning show. I was online playing, I think it was like Call of Duty or something. And the dude saw my name and he was like, "Hey, man, you getting in good contacts for like hair transplant?" I'm like, what the fuck? Now this is what we're known for? I was hoping he would ask a kebab question. I thought that was stereotyping. I'll take kebab questions all day now, as opposed to recommendations.
Hair and dental work.
Well, I'll be passing out coupons when you guys come over here. So let's get to the predictions then. I mean, I think the squad, like the starting 11, once we answer the Wirtz question, kind of fills itself, right? Because we put Frimpong. We're not playing Robertson back-to-back, so we are putting Kirkez, Van Dijk, Konate, 3 in the midfield, Gakpo, Ekitike, Mo, right? We're all in agreement on this. well, mark your fucking calendars because we.
I mean, let's be honest.
Bickler.
Bickler wants Rio, but
I'm
he's
not starting
okay.
Rio this match.
I'm kidding. He's okay.
I'm not a
with
monster.
Rio not playing.
I'm not.
I don't send teenagers to Turkey unless they're looking for freaking implants.
Unless they're getting their teeth done, or they have like really early falling hair.
Next thing you know, Bickler's got an airline for one of his teenagers to go to Turkey to get some dental work done because it's a quarter of the cost, less the copay and the deductible.
One of the silver linings, and I say one of very few silver linings of my ex-marriage, is that my ex-father-in-law is a dentist, so I don't have to. I don't have to use my Turkish connections.
Did you make that sound like one of the many or one of the few? I'm sorry.
However she wants to take it if she's listening.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell if it was like one of the many advantages or one of the very rare advantages, kind of a thing. But
my kid's got the best teeth.
Yeah.
We won't throw you under the bus on your birthday over here. But birthday,
yes, you will. Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
We're gonna leave with the song. We're gonna have to leave with the song because I think it might be the best song. I know the Miller Lite song was pretty darn good too. But when I heard this today, mind you, Angie tried again. So full credit to Angie. Everybody in the chat can give. She was like, "Are we doing this again?" And I was like, "Yes, we are." So Bickler score prediction.
Love you, Ange.
Give me a gritty, gross, disgusting, hair-raising 2-1 where the goals come all within the first 60 minutes of the matches, and the last 30 minutes is just sort of a squeaky bum, like 30 minutes on out.
Yeah,
makes sense.
What do you have? I'll take it. If it's a win,
So,
I'll take it.
I want so much to say 2-0. Because I really want Mamadashvili to have a really good performance for himself because I think he earned it, and I think he's deserved it because he played really well earlier in the year. And like everything else, we just love to criticize anyone that isn't the key star players of our club, even if they play well. But I think that's probably a step too far. So I'll say we win it 2-1. I'll say we win it 2-1, but any draw is an okay result, in my opinion, as long as they get home without injuries. And it looks like they had a plan. I don't want them to need to rescue a point, right? If you rescue a point, it makes the next leg a lot more difficult. My biggest thing is don't give these guys any form of confidence to come to Anfield with, because when Osimhen is talking about not wanting Liverpool because he doesn't want to play at Anfield, it kind of lets you know you're already in their head. If the star striker is begging not to come play you, he'd rather go to, what would they have went to? Tottenham? Well, I guess who the fuck was
I mean, the other option was Spurs, to be fair.
That was something earlier.
He just wants to go shopping in London. He wants to, like, you
guys nobody made the comment earlier, like, I would just hold Verts for this. I would do this for Spurs, and there'll be this space. Spurs is the type of match that would be holding space for the three of us fuckers to start in our mid to late 40s. Because at this point, we would put in more effort than anyone is for Edor Tudor. That is for sure.
Tudor would be a good matchup because he used to actually. Abdurrahim, don't even fucking go there, dude. You know what? I don't ban people very often, but you will get banned for that over here.
I hate that for you.
I kind of love that comment more than anything on that.
Honestly, if Galatasaray is 0, like, Gali was wishing, I do think we will have 2 or 3. I was going to go with a 2-2 because I think they have some people to like hassle us attacking wise. I mean, they got that goal last time and they kind of really leaned. I think Juventus has given them a taste of, if you keep going at it, you can score more. And I just hope we don't cause our own problems, because Juventus did, and then they couldn't get out of it in the second match, but they did cause their own problems by passing around. They have like a really good press, but once you get past it, man.
I do like that winger they've got. It happens to be Dutch, just saying.
Which one?
That Lang kid?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen much of him, to be honest with you, because they signed him in January. So
there's Dutch wingers that don't play for us.
Yeah.
Sign that guy.
He's only thing is he's small. So I mean, you can't have him and Frank Prong on the pitch at the same time.
I'm more worried about like Sane and Osimhen, and most important like Barish's pace, to be honest with you. That's what I really worry about, because he did give everything went through Barish against Juventus. So they can really like exploit that, and that would be like kind of dangerous. But let's hope for a win over here. And when we get back over here, and I think, do we have a game? Yes, we do have a league game as well.
Spurs.
When we come back with Spurs, the overconfidence against the Spurs kind of scares me. But
Happy birthday, Bickler. Yeah, we know
we
your
will
secret
end with
name
this
is
because
Paul.
it's the best way to end it. Happy birthday to Paul. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Growling in the corner,